Hey everybody, Aaron Counting Sage Dynamics, and this is the annual bourbon episode. For the 5th year in a row, I've done a video on bourbon and whiskey that I've tried throughout the year. Some stuff's new, some stuff is just, staying current, what I like. This year is no different. However, this year I'm going to focus a lot on bourbons that I have been gifted by students in classes, knowing that I am a liker of some things, bourbon and whiskey. I can't say all things because there's always, there's quite a few terrible choices out there. People gift me bourbon, students, alumni, like to occasionally endow me with a bottle of what they feel is going to be a quality beverage. And I'm happy to report that all the bourbons featured in this video, whiskey or bourbons featured in this video that are gifted by students, are awesome. No different than years before, talking about what my go-to is, and Basil Hayden's is definitely it. This year, Basil Hayden's has been my choice if I was just going to have a drink and there wasn't like a special occasion or wasn't a big deal and I was just going to have something to kind of unwind or pair with something. Basil Hayden's is a great whiskey. It's great because you can drink it with your dessert or you can drink it as dessert. It has a very mellow flavor which actually tunes out very well if you were to mix it with ice. Some people like to use ice because, and I'm not really getting into the snobbery that some people have gotten into. Not there's anything wrong with it. Everybody's into what they're into. But I don't really take the approach to bourbon whiskey that some people take to wine. So there's purists out there that say you have to drink it neat, or you have to use stones, or you shouldn't mix it with ice. I kind of like mixing it with ice sometimes because as the ice melts, the flavor changes, and that's pretty cool. So Basil Hayden's is definitely kind of the go-to bottle for 2020. Weller. I was gifted this by a student who attended a class earlier this year. This is actually my second bottle. Just got into it. This has a very subtle flavor to it. It's a very clean aftertaste, and that's really what I really appreciate it, because it doesn't have that quintessential burn that some people are used to. So you do have to kind of be careful with this, just like you do with Basil Hayden's, and the fact that you can drink it more like it's a soft drink and less like a hard alcohol. But it also pairs well. This is something I would mix with, something fruity, because I'm securing my masculinity, and if I had an umbrella, I'd put that in the drink too. I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, so I'm going to say it's Wathens or Wathens. This was another gift. This is a Kentucky Straight bourbon, and it's a single barrel, so it's a little higher shelf, if you will, than maybe their normal offerings, but this is the only one I've tried. It has a very good caramel taste to it. It is a little bit on the sharp side on the back end, so something probably, I guess the best way to describe it would be taking a shot versus mixing a drink and kind of sipping on it. It does also mix well if you wanted to put stuff. This is something I have no problem drinking neat as long as it's room temperature. If it gets a little warmer than standard room temperature, it's just not good. Although most bourbons or whiskeys, if you heat them up, are not something that most people would prefer. Although I have seen people drink Jameson out of a bottle that has been floating around in a hot tub for an hour. So those people are out there. This is the cask finish Breckenridge whiskey. This is my second bottle that I've been gifted by a student of Breckenridge. In fact, I just finished the other one off probably back in July. I guess the description it kind of fails me a little bit of what I can kind of compare it to, but I will say that it's a very smooth kind of I don't want to say an everyday whiskey, although if you want to have a whiskey every day, that's completely right. But it's something that I have no problem standalone neat, mixing with ice, or mixing with whatever your favorite mixer is. I tend to mix this with Diet Coke if I'm doing a mixed drink, or Coke if that's your thing, and find that it really brings out, the Coke or the Diet Coke really brings out the hard flavors that you're going to get from this. If I had to only have one go-to general purpose whiskey, it wouldn't be a bad thing if this was it. Russell's Reserve. This was a gift. I just recently opened it, and I was a little apprehensive, I'm going to be completely honest, because I don't feel like a whole lot of work went into naming it. Granted, people name liquors after themselves all the time, but I just felt like this was some guy named Russell who's like, this is what I make. Here you go. Try it. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Surprisingly, it reminds me a lot of Blade & Bow. Which is kind of like on the same flavor profile as Blanton's. Very surprising there. It doesn't have the same flavor, obviously, although it's going to be close because it's in the same general category of liquor. But it's a little bit smoother and a little bit cleaner than Blade & Bow, so you don't have that same sharp aftertaste that you're going to get from some bourbons or some whiskeys. I wouldn't call it like a dessert whiskey, but it's something that stands on its own, and even if you are kind of prone to mixing your whiskeys with Coke, Diet Coke, or some kind of fruit juice, you may rethink it when you get this. That brings us to the worst of the year, and maybe the worst ever. This stuff is called Burns Night. Again, the name's kind of a giveaway. Now, student did not give me this, thank God, because that would have been an awkward conversation after this video goes up. Now, it won the World Spirit Competition in 2019. It won a gold medal. The category must have been what tastes the worst. Let's see if I can describe this. If you were to go around for the entire year and buy the socks and underwear from homeless people, and at the end of the year you were to put all those socks and underwear in the dumpster behind a strip club and light that on fire and let it burn down to a char, and then add antifreeze and, well, hops and rye, I guess, and strain it down, and then strain it all the way down and squeeze all the liquid out of that dumpster fire into a shot glass and then drink it, you would be close to understanding how terrible this tastes. If there was an engine that ran off of this, we'd be much better off. However, no one would buy it because they'd have to purchase this, and, well, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. The flavor is, well, I just gave you the best description I got. I can't really be more illustrative than that on how much you should just not purchase this. So it won an award. I don't know who was judging it. Maybe people who have like loss of taste or something. I don't know. But definitely avoid whatever this is supposed to be. The sad thing is they're local to me here in Atlanta. So if they see this video, I hope they don't try to beat me up in a parking lot. That's been the bourbon episode for 2020. I know it's been a rough year, so hopefully you guys are getting ready for holiday season and head out to your local liquor store and maybe try one of the recommendations I've made. If not, no big deal, because I'm not a bourbon critic. I just make this video once a year because some people are into the same kind of stuff I'm into, and I have a platform for it. So here's your annual bourbon video. I'm Eric Allen with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.